getting ready to head up to the field to move the Traveler, and noticed there was a flat tire on our Gator. So I pumped it up, and look what I found. That's going to be a problem. We'll fix that, but I don't have time right now, so I'm just going to take the four-wheeler, unhook the trailer because I don't need it, and we'll run up there with that. Okay, I got up here to the field. Everything's still running. We have a new problem this morning, though. While the water jet coming out of there is still impressive, it didn't seem right. I look at my pressure gauge, and we're only running 42, 43 pounds. So I went and looked at the inlet, and we've only got a touch over 100 pounds here. This should be running close to 140, and we should be getting 70 at the gun right now. I think maybe our screen in our river suction tube is getting plugged up, so we're gonna have to address that. It was close enough to done. I'm just gonna let it finish the run here, and we'll move it, and then we'll go check it. But it means we're not putting out the gallonage, and it falls a lot harder. You need that pressure to spread that apart so it's more gentle, and this corn can handle it, but it's not ideal, so we wanna make sure we get this fixed. Well, I'm down at the river. I'm gonna see if I can lift this up with one hand and show you guys. See that screen? She's got a bunch of sticks and stuff on it. So I'm gonna wheel her around, see if we can't clean it off, and that should solve our pressure issue. Much better. Pushing 146, somewhere in there on the pressure gauge. So yeah, just gotta clean your screen off after 2 weeks of pumping continuously. So this lane where we're hooked up right now is the one where I should, after this run, turn it and pull it straight backwards down my center lane again. But we have got so much mud in my main driving lane that I don't want to do it. I don't want to put more water in there. So I'm going to skip that pull. I know that I probably should do it, but it's about 50% new acres and 50% overlap anyway. So it's not that big of a deal, but we do have one more lane up here that we've got to do, and then we've got the whole field covered the second time. So should be good. This one's 8 hour pull. 8 hours and 15 minutes, I think. Was that stop sign there this morning? Somebody clearly wasn't paying attention. Holy cow. Yeah, that's no good. So I went over to the field where the combine is, and Tech's not there yet, although he's on his way. He should be here any time, but it gave me time to come back and get my coffee. So we'll head over there in a minute or in a little bit, hopefully. He'll either let me know that he's there, or I'll just find him there and get this combine fixed quickly. That's the goal. Well, we're working on stuff here, but not making much progress on figuring out what the problem is. Going through some stuff on the computer. We've tried swapping a couple of solenoids and unplugging some sensors. We're plugging them back in at the moment, trying to figure out why this thing won't move. And I don't know if we've made any progress. We've made some progress, but it's not good. These are the pieces that make up a hydraulic pump. I'll show you where it goes in a minute, but basically this pumps the oil to run the draper belts. You see that? Those are shavings, metal. They're all over. They came off of this shaft and splines down in there. No good. This pump is junk. So we gotta get a new one. Okay, here's what I learned. That pump is clearly bad. That dealership network, Greenmark, they have 2 of them in their whole system, like 15 stores. The closest one is in Three Rivers, Michigan, which is 60-ish miles from here. I called the other dealer that's to the south of us to see if they had one. They do not. There's one in Findlay, Ohio, which is 60 miles in the opposite direction. So I'm gonna go get the one in Three Rivers. It's gonna take me 2.5 or 3 hours to get back, but it'll be fairly quick to go back together. We will be combining wheat this afternoon. It's just probably gonna be 3 o'clock before we get started, which is no good. But at least we know what the problem is and we know how to fix it. So anyway, off we go. We'll see you in a few hours. This guy's over here is serious about their irrigation. Can't tell you how many pivots I have seen running. Got what we need. Drove an hour and a half. Spent 2 minutes in the store. We should probably drive through the lot, right? Because I mean, we drove all this way. It'd be rude not to. Pretty nice row of tractors here. There's another 9620 RX. Ooh, 570. They got one of them in Jonesville. Ooh, look at that sprayer. Nice Haggy. When we are ready to upgrade sprayers again, which will be probably years down the road, I think we should look at a Haggy. Couple of folding corn heads, combines. Look at that gem. These are all older combines. There's one on the end that's newer, a 690. Nice big 2730 ripper. We got one of those. Okay, that's enough. Back home, and we're gonna go a different way so we can see more irrigation of different stuff. Can't drive the same route twice, so. All right, off we go. There's a soft hose traveler. There's a pivot in the background, but that gun was the same concept as ours, except it uses a soft hose and a little different system. There's a hard hose. His seal's leaking too. Well, the fix is longer than the, is much quicker than the diagnostics of figuring out what's wrong with it. I got the new pump put on. I'll show you that in just a second, but I want to test it, so we started the combine up and we're gonna see. Hope everything works here. Okay, moment of truth. Might take a minute. Yes. Oh. Okay, we got a leak we got to fix, but it's running. Excellent. Way too fast. Way too fast. Now they're too slow. I want them to be about 180. Close. Okay. Good deal. All right, well, this pump is new. That's what we did. We had to move the fittings from the old one over to this one, hook the lines back up, and everything seems to work. So Dad's back. He's gonna jump in the combine. I'm gonna move my truck out of the way, and we're gonna get in the grain cart and keep running wheat. Okay, well, he finished the field up here. So that's 128 acres done. I got out and washed the windows for you guys while I was waiting so you can see. So anyway, he's coming up to empty the combine into the cart here, and then we will put her in the semi, and I think we're gonna just jump across the road over there. Okay, I've got to go do irrigation stuff, so I'm gonna leave this grain cart sit here on the end of the field. He can dump right into it. Pretty awesome machine to watch. One thing I kind of have noticed is the combine's turning really dirty quick, which, I mean, we're using it and look at the dust it's working in. It's going to get dirty, right? But it's kind of black. I don't know if you guys can see it real well right now. But on that side panel around the engine fan and even on the head, I've noticed it a lot. I kind of wonder if we got some disease in our wheat or something, and that's part of the reason the yield's not as good as we would hope. I don't know. I've seen that with corn before. Okay, this is the last pull, the second time over. This is a fairly short one. I don't remember what it was. 600 feet, I think. 604 sounds right. So we'll pull it out and get her started, and then we'll have to figure out how long this one's gonna take. I'm gonna get back to the four-wheeler, and I'm gonna go back to the far end of the field where we started and see what things look like, and we'll make a plan from there. So I told you earlier I was supposed to make a pull through here to get some of this corn along the lane to get shot over, but you see all this mud and this water, and especially this next hole up here. I decided it wasn't worth it to making these that much worse, especially this one. This one's a pain in the butt here. I'm waiting for it to dry up. I didn't want to spray more water into it, so I decided to skip this run. It's not that big a deal. I mean, most of this corn gets water. It's just some of it where the lanes are, it gets shot over top of. So anyway, I want to go down here to the end and see what it looks like. Okay, well, here's lane 1. Look at this, guys. Dang, this corn is looking good. It is tall over my head here. That's good. This corn's got to be getting close to tassel. Let's do a little corn autopsy here. Okay, this is going to be our sacrificial plant. So if we go down, let's say here, this leaf maybe. I'm going to peel this back. Let's check this one. It's a lot easier when you have two hands and you pull the whole plant out. Yeah, there's an ear. Yeah, that's got to be it. Hold on. Okay, I've removed all of the upper leaves of this plant here, and I found, here's the tassel. So this is currently working its way up, and we'll start shooting out the top of the plant. I'm guessing we're a good week, maybe a week and a half from seeing tassel starting to shoot out, at least here. You'll also notice that right here is our uppermost ear, and if I could do this real carefully, way down in there, you would actually see, yeah, maybe. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Come on. Well, it's there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but right in here is the ear. Oh, I just broke it off. It just fell. So right there it is. I'm not sure how many kernels are on it, or rows. I could probably count rows. I won't be able to count kernel length. But there it is. I can't focus. I don't know why it won't focus. There. Now you can see all the dirt on my hands and the little rows of kernels on that ear. So anyway, that's the uppermost ear that was right on this node here. Back up. There will be an ear on probably 6 to 8, maybe 10 nodes on this plant. Ooh, maybe that's, oh yeah, it was way up here. That's where we found it. There's one here. There's another one here. I'm sure there's one down in there. Corn will actually put a lot of ears on. It just aborts all of them off, and you ever only really end up getting one. The uppermost one is the one that we harvest usually. In really good conditions, you'll get 2. Ain't no way we're getting 2 this year. So you'll also notice if you look at the base of this plant here, a couple of things. A couple of things that we really like, both accounts. One, this little thing here. You might think this is bad. This is a sucker. It kind of grows off of this plant, and you would think it's stealing nutrients. Well, really, it's more of a reserve of nutrients. You see suckers on corn plants when things are good, because what happens is when this plant gets stressed, it's going to suck all the nutrients out of this, and this will die off. You'll also notice all of these brace roots growing out here. So these roots grow out of the bottom nodes on the plant. They grow right through the bottom leaves. Leaves. You can see this one's under there. So that makes it really sort of hard to stage this corn and figure out how many leaves it has put out. But look at this one. Look at all these root hairs coming out of it. Look at those. Those are all sucking up water and nutrients, and the reason we can see them and they're so close to the surface is because we've been putting water on. There's moisture available at the surface of this ground where we've been watering it. Although not here, not now. You got to get down there a little bit and then you find some. And so it's allowing these nodal roots to take up all that moisture and get it into the plant. That's a good thing. But it is getting dry here. So right here, this corn looks pretty darn good. We go back out to our lane here and look right up there on the top of the ridge, and you can see it's starting to curl again. It's not severe, but it is starting. So that means we start over right away. You can also notice here's our replant corn that's behind, but it is growing. But notice that this stuff is stressed, and as soon as you get up on the ridge where I didn't replant, it doesn't look as stressed. Well, the reason for that is the root system. That corn's got an extra month of growing time on it. It's got roots farther down into the soil where it can find moisture. Theoretically, this lower ground's got more water in it than the high sand does. This corn just can't get it because it hasn't developed the root system yet. You know, that's a month difference in planting date. It's probably 2 weeks in growth time. In 2 weeks, this corn will look like that corn does now. Of course, that corn will be tasseled, but that's about, I would say, what the difference is. Here's what the corn in this field looks like where I just can't get water. I can't reach this little finger back here behind the woods, and it's hurting. Okay, so my plan with that irrigation is to let this run that we just started finish, which should be done a little after 10 o'clock tonight, and then I'm just going to shut her down for the night. Because we got to move all the way back to the other end of the field. It's a lot of walking unless I have somebody to help me, and I need a break. So we'll just shut her down for the night, move it in the morning, and get her going again then. And we're gonna lose 9 hours of irrigation time, but I think it'll be okay. We covered that whole field in under a week because it was a week ago tomorrow that we started over on the second pass. So we did really good from that standpoint. So anyway, I filled up the water jug because I was thirsty, and I'm heading back over to the field. And you thought the red wagon yesterday was little. Holy cow. Let's see if we can do this. Nice thing is this auger is very adjustable, which gives me some flexibility here. Go out. Try and fill both sides. This is a split wagon. There's a front and a back hopper. Okay. Have enough to fill it. Thought I did. Okay. At least I didn't spill any, right? Huh. Those clouds to the southeast are awfully dark. It's like it's raining or something over there. Well, we ain't getting none of that. There are a few little scattered things popping up. None of them are gonna get us though. Come on, load. There's a chance, but it's not looking good. Bummer. This, however, is somewhat promising. There's a few days of rain there, and look at that. 81 for a high. It's better than these. So maybe we'll get some rain. Although if we miss those, oh gosh, keep pumping. Jump in the combine and ride for a minute. I gotta get back over to my grain cart. A lot of this wheat hasn't been real great, but right in through here it's actually yielding pretty well. 80, 90, something like that, which we'll take. This is some of the better spots in the field where the wheat's not too thin, so there's enough there basically to make good wheat. There's a lot of thin spots in other places that are a little wetter, need more tile. Alright, we'll let him go by. Wait for the dust cloud. Jump over here. That first field we did was about 75 bushel wheat. It was not great. This field here, most of what we've done has not been great either, but right here it's good. This is a different variety over here. It is drier. I don't know if it's drier because it's just the weather, stuff's still drying down quickly, or if this variety was a little bit earlier, maybe we should have started over here, but not a big deal. But it is like the wheat's 10.5% now. It's really dry. The good thing is the quality of the wheat, the grain itself looks excellent. It does not appear to have any disease in it, any shriveled up, discolored kernels. We get a disease, when we get head scab, we get vomitoxin a lot. And if we get that, they test for it where we sell the grain, and if it's above certain levels, they dock us and can dock pretty heavily for it. It's an environmental conditions thing, and so we're fortunate to not have that. And the test weight is outstanding. I think this stuff here was like 63-pound test weight. 60 pounds is considered standard for wheat, and a lot of times it's 58 or even a little under that. So having 63-pound wheat is really good. Still rolling right along here. We are covering some ground. We're about done with this field. About a month and a half ago, when we had that huge flood, we had 5.5 inches of rain in a week or less. I got a few questions about how that flood was affecting the wheat, and at the time I said not much, but there was a few low spots. Well, there's one of them. That's the big, look at all the deer out there. Doe and 2 fawns. That's the biggest area that we lost, drowned out from that flood, and was the biggest impact. There are a few other smaller areas, but that one's a couple acres maybe. So that was the big impact. And then it got hit with dry weather, and so, you know, yeah, now we end up with the wheat that we've got, or don't have, however you want to look at it. I jumped out of the tractor and into the grain cart just to show you guys what our wheat sample is looking like. Here's what Dad just dumped. It's pretty clean, really. I mean, there's a little chaff in it, but not too bad. It's cooling off. It's not as hot as it was, but what I'm noticing is, one, the kernels are really small, and that's what's affecting our yield, I think, a lot. There's several things that affected our yield. One, that drought, or the flood that we had 2 months ago now, did not help anything. It certainly set it back. Got a little disease in it, especially leaf diseases. And then this dry weather that we've had recently just cut it off, where it wasn't able to finish filling out the kernels like we want it to. And so we've got small seeds, but the quality is good. Like I said, you don't see small shriveled up ones. You don't see discoloration or anything like that. And it's heavy. It's good test weight. Unfortunately, it's just not adding up weight-wise. There's just not enough of it. I don't know where we're at in this field, but the last field went about 75. I'm guessing this one's not any better. We do have some better wheat, I think. We'll have a few fields that are well over 80, but I don't know that we're going to average 80, which is kind of we better be at least 80 bushel wheat. So, is what it is. See that side panel's all dirty there? I think we got disease in it, and it's when it turns into dust, and when he combines it, then it sticks to stuff. So here's the edge of the standing wheat. See here on the stem, there's some discoloration. The leaf tissue that is still there, it's all dried up, which obviously it's all dried up, but just trying to look and see if there's black stuff on it or not. But I think that
discoloration on the stem is some disease of some sort that cost us bushels. But when we needed to spray it, when the timing, the ideal time to put the fungicide on is right when the flag leaf comes out. So it's too hard to tell on this stuff here, but the flag leaf is this leaf up here. That's the top one. It's the last one before it pushes heads out. That leaf does almost all of the photosynthesis for filling out the heads and the kernels and stuff, and most of your yield is made through that leaf. So you want to spray it with a fungicide as soon as that leaf emerges in order to protect it, so it doesn't get any leaf diseases in it. It doesn't have anything in it that kills off leaf tissue and prevents it from doing photosynthesis, right? Well, that flag leaf came out right when we got that rain. We got that 5.5-inch rain there in the first week of May or second week of May. That was the time to spray with a fungicide. The fields were too wet. There was nothing we could do. By the time it got dry enough to be able to spray it a week or week and a half later, we were less than a week away from heading when we were putting another fungicide on for head scab. And so we decided to skip the flag leaf one because they would have been too close together to really get much benefit out of them. And here's what it is. It was just a timing problem. So I also stopped to look at what our losses are here in this field, and they're really good. There's just a few kernels there, so it's quite acceptable loss through the combine in that windrow like that. And I had a couple of people ask me or point out that it's much less kernels per square foot to equal 1 bushel. Well, and they're right when you factor in the entire width of the header, but we're concentrating 40 feet into the width of this windrow that's what, 3 or 4 feet wide. So when you concentrate 40 feet into that, we're looking for loss that's coming through the combine, not shattering out through the heads. So you look out here and there's nothing. There are literally no kernels laying out here. We're not losing it at the head, we're losing it, it's coming through the combine and going right over the sieves and out the back. So as long as you got those losses to an acceptable level, then the combine's working like it's supposed to. One more thing, somebody asked me yesterday about this auto luber and how often we have to fill it. Short answer, I don't really know. It came filled from the factory when we got it, and I think we've pumped a couple of tubes of grease in it last fall. I need to put more in it now, but it's not empty by any means, so it lasts quite a while. Well, Dad should be able to get the last couple rounds there on the combine, so I'm gonna take the cart and we'll go back up by where the truck is and wait for him to unload it in there. Should all fit on this last truck that we've got here. It's not quite half full, so what do I got? 15,000. Oh yeah, it'll fit easy. All right, we are done for the night. Dad's taking the gator home. I'm gonna jump in this truck, run it back to the farm, and we'll be done. I will say this, it sure is nice not having to fight mud getting trucks in and out of fields. Don't have to worry about parking on the road all the time, trying to get in and out. We can just get off the road, park in the field. We aren't gonna get stuck. My new Honda motor came today. Haven't had any trouble with the one on it though since I ordered this, so we're not gonna put it on until we need it. Okay, time for me to go home. We had a decent day. For not starting combining until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we covered a fair amount of ground. We did about 80 acres today, which is not bad. And tomorrow we should have a big day. We're moving to another field tomorrow that's got 140 in it, and I think we should be able to get started fairly early in the morning, like 10 o'clock or something. Wheat's kind of like beans. You got to wait until the dew is off. But we haven't had much dew the last few days. It's been hot and sunny, and there's just just not a lot to do. So, and as dry as the wheat is, if it happened to pick up a couple of points of moisture overnight, still 12%. That last 2 loads all tested under 10.5, like 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, which is super dry. So we can start combining as soon as we can get through the fields in the morning. So I got to get that irrigation stuff moved. I'm going to shut it down tonight when this last run is done, and then we'll get it moved back to the other end of the field and keep it moving tomorrow. And then we'll start combining again. I have got to work on some paperwork for my seed business stuff. It's got to be done by the end of the week here, and I'm running out of time, and I need to sit down and do it at some point. So I may step away from stuff a little bit tomorrow to try and get that done. But anyway, have a good night, guys, and hit the like and subscribe buttons for me, please. If you have any questions and comments, leave them down below, and I'll be sure to answer them. So see you guys.